Howdy folks, it's R3D and welcome back to Eternia SMP, the best place on the planet to play Minecraft 1.19. Hey, look at that. Fancy art. We're about to update to 120. We're just waiting on, Epona's waiting on a few key necessary plugins that still need to be updated. By the time you watch this though, we might be on 120. I'm actually like a week and a half ahead recording. Somehow, I've been having a lot of time to play, not much time to record, and you're wondering where's all the playtime coming from. Well, first of all, Formula 1 is taking a break, so I'm not doing flight sim videos for Formula 1 right now. And, the dog and sleep deprivation and up at weird times, not being able to sleep, I just record. I just replay whenever I can. 5 minutes here, 6 hours there, 10 minutes here, whatever. Just random times, but not time to record. But I have time to record right now, which is why you're watching the video, and I'm super pumped about what I'm going to show you. It's a huge update for my urban housing. So we're just going to fly over there, and you're going to get a bird's eye view of everything that I've done. Look, I can see it over here already. Look at this. And then we're going to talk about it in detail, because every block I've placed has meaning. So this part you've already seen, these 3 houses here. This is the super rich people houses. And then we have the row houses, which you've already seen as well. But if we come over here, we have townhouses, 2 rows of townhouses, which we'll talk about what townhouses are versus condos, because we'll have condos next. And then here we have houses, an urban housing neighborhood, first ring suburb type thing. And little cabins there, but we have a bunch of houses, a bunch of them. Look at this, look at all these houses, and every single house has meaning and intention, and every block is placed and landscaping, and every single thing I've done I'm most proud of probably any of my builds, maybe. So, alright, we're going to talk about this stuff here. We're going to talk about what's going to go. No, we're going to talk about for sure what's going to go there. I have some ideas. A few ideas. I keep changing them. Talk about these houses. But here we are, townhouses. So in the United States, a townhouse are basically houses that are all connected like a town. You have your own door. You have your own yard. Of course, you're part of the association, but you have your own yard. You have your own doors. Sometimes you have a backyard. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes the townhouses are back to back, so you only get light in the front. Sometimes you get light in the back if you don't have one back to back, and then the end units are always bigger with extra light. So I find them completely horrible in person in real life. I have friends who have purchased townhouses, very, very high-end townhouses as well, like near $1 million or more, and they're claustrophobic, especially if you're in like a inner unit like this where you only have windows at your front door. It's horrible, but anyway, I put them in my town, Kulteberg, because I wanted to. So I love the style I used with like dormers for a half story up there. We'll go inside and take a peek. Every single one of these is the same. They're just reversed every other one. And very light landscaping because they're required to have perfect lawns, as the association says, and they take care of it anyway. They all have their own stairs going in. They all match except for alternating colors. And here I kept this broken, eroded road. Remember, it was like a sinkhole, eroded road sidewalk here. I kept it and just had a walkway like this to get to these 2 units. I thought that was very clever. I'm seeing a change I can make here, though, maybe. See, I wanted to step down, but then there's dirt under the foundation. I'm not going to add foundation there, though. That's going to stay like that. I could fill all this in, but that's too much of a good thing. So that's going to stay like that. Everything else sticks out one, but I don't want that one to stick out. I want it to be different. So it's different. And then we have some here. So we're going to go inside, and then we talk about the others. Let's pick an inner unit, so you see what I was talking about. But they're all the same, and they're all vacant. No one's moved in yet. No one wants to live here because it's tiny and claustrophobic. So they're having a hard time selling the units. But here's the downstairs, and then you go upstairs. And I need to spin this way because I'm going to get a dizzy. And then here you go. Here's the dormer. You can look out at the offices across the way. Little peek of the skyline. And then bigger windows to look in the backyard area, which we'll talk about in a moment. And there you go. And then the ceiling, the roof line is there. There's the roof. So very simple, but I'm super proud of these, to be honest. I'm really, really proud of how these turned out. And then you go around the corner, I guess we could have gone through. I mean, the only difference with the end units is they have 2 extra windows. That's it. And they're one block bigger inside, I guess. So let's go in an end unit. And then we'll go out the back door and I'll show you the back. Here we go. Again, they're all vacant. See, it's one block wider. So it's a little bit more space. A little bit more visibility out the windows. But still, it's claustrophobic and costs way too much money. I guess you can spy on your neighbors if you're into that type of thing. Which, you know, it's kind of fun. I always talk about how I used to go on morning bike rides at 5:30 and the stuff you'd see is pretty crazy. There you go. Now they can look at that converted dorm condo thing over here. So that might be more interesting than looking at the office. But you never know. Anywho, let's hop outside and go out the back. And then we have another row of units here. There's different colors, but they're all exactly the same as these. But then there's like, oh gosh, you scared me. Oh my gosh, you want to move in? Yeah, I'd move you in, but you despawn, even if I name tag you. I've learned that. So we're just going to visit, taking a tour with us. Actually, let's take a selfie together. There we go. Big urban update. Big urban update. Taking a few different screenshot methods here. There we go. Thank you. Alrighty. So here we go. The back, you know, they match both sides. But there's like this little park. Anybody can go here. A little promenade, they would call it where I live. And just some places to sit, and you can walk your dog as long as you keep it on a leash. And just enjoy some serenity. Because as soon as you come around the corner, you have the skyline, because you are still in the city. You know, like maybe the suburbs start there. But no, they're not suburbs. That's still in the city too. And then you're still in the city, so you still got the skyline. And then this is going to be a high-rise condo building, and maybe a few more high-rises here. I didn't want to block the view of this stuff from down here, which we'll look back at in a minute, but at the same time I want more tall buildings. So you're going to come through here and see high rises here, and then you see the city there. If you come this way, again, it's all serene and all these trees that are planted on purpose. And then you got some housing, but it's, you know, kind of run down. It's not the best scenery. Then you got the mountains, so that's kind of cool. I think I deal with all the tourists. And these are all Airbnbs. So these are always rented out anyway. So you just want to stay in your little park. I have a friend who lives in a high-rise, and it's all self-contained. The neighborhood surrounding it is very, very bad. I wouldn't even walk around their neighborhood in the day. But you go into their gated building with secure garage, with a secure courtyard, and some like outside amenities that you stay within your gated complex. And it's fine if you never leave. Just like this kind of. And again, more dormers, just different colors. Alrighty, so now we have all these houses. And I'm so freaking proud of every single one of these houses, because each house that I made is very specifically planned out, and there's a story behind each one. First of all, I wanted a house here that wanted to be one of the rich people houses, but it's not quite one of the rich people houses, but it's probably an original house that was way bigger than everything else. And this house owner 200 years ago probably owned all this land. It was probably all their land, and this was their house, and they sold it off. Just like where I live in Minneapolis, the neighborhood next was, there's like 5 of these enormous houses, and then the property is broken up into regular houses in the 1950s. And I live in a house that was built in 1939 on the next property over before that was broken up, and all my neighbors were built in the 50s and 70s. So this is one of those houses. So it's a little different. It's been kind of, I don't know, repainted an ugly color on purpose. They added some windows, and they wanted it to be bigger than it really is. We'll talk about this stuff here in a minute. And then the roof is a nasty color, but they try to be fancy. So you walk in, and it all has rooms. You have, you know, your seating area, kind of. Oh, there's a garage. I'm like, what's that? And then you come over here, and there's carpet, nasty old carpet with a map of the area of the property before it was split up. So our house is this one right here, and then they sold all this off to the developers, but that's original. It tells you what was here, and then you could sit down, hang out, not even TV. The bathroom is in here, and the bathroom is kind of cool. They modernized it with one of these stand-up showers with no walls, which you see in modern houses, and everything gets wet. My sister has one of these. She said it looked amazing when they had the house built, and then she took her first shower and just soaked the entire bathroom, and they don't know what to do other than just put towels around it and go through like 5 towels for every shower. She hates it. But she has something like this in her modern house, and there's a towel to dry off. Someone can sit in the toilet. Again, modern, so the flusher you kick with your foot maybe. I don't know. But you can see on the backyard, we'll talk about the backyard stuff in a minute because it's very special what I did in the back. Anyway, candles, you know, my mom always had candles burning to get rid of smells, and then she'd leave them burning, which is very scary. But you can check out, you know, again, you can kind of get a skyline view, but the new townhouses block the view of the skyline. And then we'll talk about that in a minute. And then you got a kitchen, kind of modernized, you know, some things you can do there. Out to the backyard, which we'll talk about this in a minute. And these trails, again, we'll talk about these trails in a minute. You come upstairs, and boom, you have a little reading nook, a little reading area. And again, check out the backyard, and then lots of books. And then come in here and you have a bedroom, just a normal bedroom with a little lookout. But then it's a walk-through bedroom, which I actually had when I was a kid. You had to walk through my sister's bedroom to get to my bedroom. It's kind of weird, but whatever. And then all of a sudden there's all these options. What do? I can look over the railing, or I can go in here, which is like a secret entrance to the other bedroom, like this. So you have two ways to get into the bedroom, which I lived in a house like this too, where you have the main door, but you can also get in a different way, just because it's weird. So that's what this house represents, is some of the things I had when I was a kid, and some houses that we rented. Anyway, that's where this inspiration came from. And then here you have like a loft, so you got a bed here, so maybe the twins, if you have twins, can sleep here, the younger siblings or something, and the older sibling goes up there, or whatever you want to do. More books, lots of books in this house, but it's a loft, it's all open. Again, every single block is thought about carefully in all these builds this time around, which is why I've been so excited to do this update video. I've just been chomping at the bit. And just keep a note of back here. Just take a mental note of what's going on back there. And then we're going to go out the front door. And what's the time say? We got a couple Minecraft hours here to keep going around before we have to find a bed and sleep. And then they have a walkway going to the back door just because they can. And then here, this house. Okay, so this house represents my grandmother's house. So my grandparents lived in downtown Minneapolis. My grandfather was a taxi cab driver. Got robbed and assaulted too many times in the 1940s and early 50s. And so my grandmother's like, let's get out of the city. So they moved to a first-ring suburb in the 50s, or I can't remember the date. But anyway, but they built a house that, if you look at it, looks like it's built in the 70s. But it was actually built in the 50s, I think. Because my mom was born in 52, and it was done before she was born. So I was born in the early 50s, I guess, but it looked like the 70s, so for its time, it was incredibly modern. My grandfather did it all himself, designed it and everything. He became a drywaller when he quit being a taxi cab driver because he was sick of being mugged in downtown Minneapolis in the 40s and 50s. So this represents their house. It's a weird house. If you go in the door, my grandmother's real-life house, there are 4 levels. So you go in, you have the main level here, and then you have halfway up, halfway down, and then a basement. So you have 4 levels, 2 on this side, 2 on this side. It's like a double split entry, kind of. It's very cool. But this represents her living room. She had this long leather couch and this nasty pink shade carpet. And she had bay windows that she had done 10,000 each window in like the 90s. And the upper level stuck out like this. That's why it does this. And this is the color of her house too, with a weird roof, which I know very well because when I was 14, I helped re-roof her house. So this painting, if you remember my Minecraft paintings, I have my own texture pack of my kids' paintings from school. But then I put one of my grandmother's, which is this one. This is actually my grandmother's painting. She was a well-known artist in the community, but refused to sell. And people had offered her thousands and tens of thousands of dollars for her paintings, and she refused to sell a single one. This has always been my favorite, so I got my name on it when I was a kid. And when she passed away, somebody in the family tried selling them all, but I nabbed this one, and my name was still on there from like 20 years prior. So I'm like, this is mine. I claimed it like 20 years ago. So I kept it, and now it's in Minecraft. Of course, in real life, it looks absolutely spectacular, but it looks pretty good in Minecraft too. So that's why that's in here. So anyway, this represents her living room. Of course, she had way more going on in the living room. She also had this weird storage up above, so it was like kind of vaulted ceilings, and some of the ceilings walls just didn't go up all the way. And she had storage everywhere up above that you need like the scary ladder to get on. So that's what this represents. That's why it's open. And then you come up here and you had bedrooms and an office area. And her painting supplies and everything, and she had weird art and stuff. So that's what this represents. Oop, it's nighttime. We'll have to see if anything spawns. Now, all of this housing area is all spawn-proofed. Everything I've built up, but that isn't spawn-proofed yet, and the other side isn't spawn-proofed. So hopefully nothing spawned when I wasn't paying attention. We'll have to see. We come up here, books, yeah, lots and lots of books, painting supplies. There's a bedroom up here. That's what this is. And this is my kid's self-portrait from like 5th grade. So she had art of the kids and her grandkids everywhere. So that's what this represents. And then getting to the kitchen is kind of difficult because the ladder's in the way. But she had this really tiny but interesting kitchen. She was also an amazing cook and baker. Her stuff won awards all the time at the state fair and all this stuff. And then they told her she couldn't come back because they considered her professional, so she couldn't put her stuff in the state fair anymore. And I watched like the British Bake Off, and I wish my grandmother were around to watch it because she would just laugh at everybody because she'd be like, "Oh, I can do all that." Like it'd be so easy for my grandmother. But anyway, so this is her kitchen. And the back door. Hopefully nothing is out here to get us. Like I said, here nothing is spawnable, but over there it is. So anyway, we'll talk about this backyard stuff in a minute. Again, keep your eye on that. And then her refrigerator. She had a funny refrigerator. If we go up here, again, storage access, and then storage access here because you can. So again, very interesting. I think this house, I'm very proud of how I built it. And it's very complicated, actually. It was very complicated to look cool. In fact, I see some things I could change. Like I could put in wood here. But she did have these dark wood beams going across her house, too. All the beams that held the roof up and everything were exposed in the house. So that's why that's there, I guess. Anyway, let's go outside. Check for mobs because we did not sleep right away. And then, again, we'll go back to this thing. Just notice this is trails for local residents only. We'll talk about that in a minute. Coming back now, the next house. This kind of represents my house. I call it my house from my childhood. I lived in like 7 houses before we settled down. So from 3rd grade until I was 19, I lived in a house that's supposed to be represented by this. It's not the greatest representation, but I'll explain why, because the inside is pretty close. It was blue with white trim. And a bunch of stairs, kind of, and a super steep driveway. So scary. So let's go inside. We'll talk about this house. So it was split entry. Y'all of the United States, well, maybe not everywhere, but at least where I lived in the 80s, split entry was the thing. So what you would do is you'd walk in the house, and you'd have a little tiny bit of space, and then you had to decide, do you want to go upstairs or downstairs? Normally there'd be a wall around here too, but I didn't want to close in too much. So let's go downstairs first. Because you had to decide. Go downstairs, and this is all lit up, don't worry, but there's some of my kids' art, see? Art here, stored under the stairs. Just, I don't know why that's there, because it can be. A bedroom, which in my house in real life, we had a bedroom that was my mom's room for all of her hobbies to sit in. In fact, I still have the bed frame that was in that bed, because they had a water bed in their room. But the bed that was in here, I still have the frame, I'm using it right now. Heirloom quality. It's 47 years old. Anyway, so bedroom. There you go. Simple, predictable. Another bedroom where was my dad's jewelry shop in real life. He was a jeweler, worked out of the house. We were robbed at least once, maybe twice, but we would move the jewelry to another place, so they didn't get anything. It was traumatizing. Yeah, we came home and yeah, they stole some stuff. Yeah, a lot of stuff. And it was sad. Anyway, sad memory. But funny memory too, because we had dog treats and they ate all the dog treats. Left the garbage on the couch. Anyway, so there's downstairs. You come up and then you turn around and go upstairs. And then we had like, it seemed like a loft, but it wasn't a loft. But there's a wall and then a big window that during storms was right in the way of the wind. So it'd bow. It was so scary. We had a big couch at one point. My parents always bought really expensive things we couldn't afford. Had pretty much everything repossessed at one time or another. So we had a big couch. We had a big TV too. But we had a 32-inch CRT TV when that was the thing. It was like $8,000 back then. Crazy. So more of my kids' art just because we can. And more of my kids' art and table. And bathroom in my bedroom. My sister's bedroom were upstairs. This is just empty right now. Just because, why not? And then another bedroom here. My sister's bedroom was pink and purple and all the colors. And then she faced the street, which was boring. And then my room faced one side in the heated sun, but then it faced my neighbors in the back of the same house we did, but reversed. And yeah, they had 7 kids in a tiny house. It was really bizarre, but my sister stayed over there once. She's like, never again. That was 30 years ago, whatever. And then you go on the deck. We had a nice big deck. It was really cool. Fell apart though near the end of the living there, but we had a big deck. That's what this represents. So you can go down, go under the deck, and there you go. So these trails, before we talk about the other side of the houses, and we have more there too, but that's not part of this at all. That's completely separate build. So we have this trail system here, and it says trails for local residents only, and you can walk around, walk your dog, hang out, lie in the sun, although it's all shaded on purpose. Hang out with your neighbors and go to their houses. Just relax, right? All these houses we've been in all these houses. And I got this inspiration because when I was a kid growing up, teenager, wasn't our neighborhood, but the next neighborhood over and around a little bit had all these trails and parks and jungle gyms, and I don't think they had a pool. Maybe they did. And it was all connected behind all these houses, and every access point said, trails and parks for residents only. But of course we would just bike through, and people would actually yell at us because even though there's like 30 houses in a big long oval with all these parks in the middle, they knew we weren't supposed to be there, and they would yell at us. It was pretty strange. We thought it was super snobby, but now that I know how neighborhoods and associations work, I guess that's not that bad. So what we tried to do in my house when I was a kid is we tried to create our own trail system between the houses or among the houses, because they're all back to back in a row, like 12 of them probably. And we tried to create trails, but we'd all walk. So I would have people march. I was the oldest in the neighborhood. Every 30 kids I think we had at one point under the age of 15 in the neighborhood. I was the oldest. So I'd have like 15 kids at a time, different kids. And we'd march through the neighborhood behind the houses, stomping on the grass, trying to create trails. We only created one trail. And then neighbors put up a fence when it was sold. So yeah, that's kind of funny. But anyway, that's the story with all this stuff. So let's leave this trail in this direction, and then we'll talk about these houses. So now the houses you get further away aren't as fancy. Remember, those are the fancy ones. These are the super duper thing up here. This is wanted to be fancy because on the property, and then it fancy kind of there, and it gets less fancy, right, as you get towards the taller buildings. So this house is very old, probably the first one after that enormous thing. But it's, you can live here. Little place to sit, little kitchen, kind of like a cabin. My first house I bought when I was 22 years old. I bought it. Well, back then you could buy a house at 22 years old. And it was a cabin built in the 30s that they made into a house. And it was really cool. If I were just my wife and me and no kids, it would have been awesome to even keep. It wasn't an option at the time to keep with my wife now. But it was awesome. It was a cabin, but they made it into a house. It was really freaking cool. So that's where this inspiration comes from. Not even a door here. Look at that. But you get to see up in here, and there's somewhere there's heat coming out the top. That's why you saw the chimney come out the backyard, and they have really cool trail access. I like their trail access. So let's move on to the next house. I know, long video, but that's because there's a lot for me to show you. This is my proudest, not group, things in the group. My largest compilation build, I guess maybe, all this stuff. Oh my gosh, I'm so proud of it. I've been envisioning this ever since the service started. So there you go. Here we have a standard old-fashioned cobblestone house. It's kind of fallen apart. Again, cabin-y type house because it's old and small, and probably built next to this one pretty close in time. Oh yeah, so this is interesting. Okay, so you come out here. You can jump up the ladder. If you okay, let's do down here then. Just a basement cellar type thing, right? Falling apart because it's really old. Now, you have to get up here. There you go. And you might think, how do you fit? It's a half block. Well, remember, if you crouch, you can crouch now. There's been a couple updates, but you can crouch and get under half blocks. So this is storage. I didn't put anything in here because it'd be sitting up here, but storage, vacant. There's a light though, although nothing can spawn up there, but there's a light anyway. And then again, cellar, but you have to jump to that. Kind of funny, but that's how they did it. High ceilings though for the time. And then their trail access is cool because they are forced onto this trail, which connects to this house, and this house, which connects to the main trail. But then that house gets a second way through. Is that cool? All right, back to this house. It's confusing, and those trails in real life in the neighborhood that did this, it was also very confusing. It was difficult to navigate those trails. Only did it a couple times, but people would yell at us. All right, and then the houses, you know, Rambler style houses. This one is vacant. People moved out. It's too weird. No one wants to move in. So this is vacant. But somebody redid the floor probably in the 70s. Probably there's a table here, so it matched. Very high ceilings. A lot of wasted space. Kind of modernized the bedroom wall. Maybe they made the bedroom a little bit bigger. But again, it's vacant. No one lives here right now. There's enough light in here, though. Nothing's going to spawn. But you can have some really cool views. Yeah, some really cool views. And there you go. And again, backyard connects all these things. But no one wants to buy this thing. It's too weird. So moving along, well, let's talk about this one next, I guess. So this one, again, 70s on purpose. You see how some of the windows are way high, especially on this side. This isn't the trail, it's just to the back door. We have houses in my neighborhood that were built in the 70s, and they're like this. My neighbor's house on one side, in their dining room, you can't see out the windows when you're in your living room, except for this one tiny window by the front door. Their living room all has windows way too high. I still need to finish this one. I was going to finish it with you on camera, but this video is getting so long that I might just have to finish it on my own. Not sure what I was going to do with it. I was going to put in a floor, and then I wanted to put up walls, but these views are amazing. So what I'm thinking is I'm just going to leave it in a demo state, like they demoed it, and then they ran out of money because of the housing boom, and they don't know what they're going to do with it yet. So I think the storyline here is going to be they ripped out the floor, ripped out the walls. They just don't know what they're going to do. So maybe I'll just put some kind of weird flooring in and some lights and call it a day. I don't know. You never know. But anyway, there's this house. So again, very 70s. So you have big windows on one side. You can have some good views. Normally you can see the outpost. I'm surprised it's not rendered in. And then you can't even see out the windows in your living room. Okay, there we go. Now we have a floor, and the workers left their lanterns just because they moved on to another project. But anyway, so there's a backyard here. Some great views again. You can see down the river. We'll talk about that in a minute. And eventually we're going to expand over there. And then block off that outpost. Like, literally go all 36 blocks and block them in. I'll explain that in another video. And then you can see the river. And then there's a trail that kids might have made, and then it stops because they realize there's a drop off and there's no way home. Oh, that looks so yummy. But then I gotta do something to get back up here. I don't want to destroy blocks to get up here. Otherwise, there you go. Nice trail. And I say yummy because it's nice to collect things from people. Why did I say yummy? What a weird word. Anyway, but it's rugged because the kids created it. And then I added these trees just for some privacy because there's going to be something here. I have an idea what I'm going to put here. I'm not going to say it because it'll change 20,000 times. The condos for sure. But I don't know what's going to go behind the condos. Something. I have an idea, like I said. I just have to test it out. Anyway, so I love this house too. Very cool. I made a whole bunch of clay for bricks, realizing this isn't clay, this is mud and wheat. Whatever. Anyway, trees, this is all natural. Oh, by the way, all the trees you see in this whole area here, except for 3 trees there, are all natural. I didn't add trees. I kept all the trees I could, and I built into them. I forgot to mention that because that was a big deal. Like this. I kept all these trees. I just built into them, which I'm very happy about. So this house is like the kooky, scary house that was built to replicate like medieval times or something. Not sure. Also notice every house is a different shape, different idea. No 2 houses are even remotely close to the same. Not at all even close to remotely the same. I love how I can see these over here. We'll talk about that build in a minute. So anyway, I love this house. This house I wasn't sure what I was going to do with, but it turned out to be really cool. Let's hop inside and I'll show you. So here you go. We created like a little, reading area. Maybe it was a torture area at first. And then here, cartography table, books, dispenser, interesting. Folding bookshelf, not really secure to the wall. And the way out back, and then stairs, and I don't know why there's a torch there. The The lighting is more than enough. There we go. Bedroom, again, more bookshelves. You can kind of look out onto your roof, I guess. Oh, you can see the skyline in the background, but see, if I build the condos, this is all going to get blocked. I want condos there. I want them high rise, but it's going to block some of these views, but maybe the condos will look better. I don't know. Those are some pretty epic builds, aren't they? I don't know. We'll have to see. Anyway, and then you come out the back, of course. And trails, right? We already talked about the trail system. Now you can go two ways, that way or this way. Depends who you want to see, who you want to talk to. I love how how many trees and it's like down a little hill and it's like cozy and quaint. Oh, it's so cool. And like it's 100% lit up. All the things I've built are spawn proof. It's just further away they're not yet. Look at this between houses. Again, all these trees, every tree you see is original. I left them all. I just built into them. I only took down like 3 trees to get these houses in here. So, original. That was my plan, was not to disturb the nature. Let's go this way. We have one more house on this side. Before we talk about this house, remember the road I mentioned? This comes down here, private road, and it connects to this house, which we talked about in the previous build. I just decorated it down here. It's all lit up. I used older style lighting instead of moss lighting, just to be older style, and it glows. So this is all lit up, and it's spawn proof. I added a lava fall from inside the mountain, added water. So this private road, they kind of own the property, I guess, but the road is theirs. And then we'll talk about what's above here in a moment. Oh, I can't even see because the trees are perfect. You can see that one though. Anyway, private road, as it says, lit up. It's so cool. I love that. I'm so proud of this little area. It's so cozy. It's so quaint. Oh, I just hang out here all day. I wish this were real life. Again, oh, this is where blocks drops down, so nothing can come across and get us. But you can't tell, right? You can't tell. It's all perfectly obscured. Oh, I'm so proud of this build. Just when I think I don't really do a good job, I do something like this, I get really proud of. And, oh man, it's dark there. Whew. I just get so proud of it and happy. Makes me so happy. I'll be even happier when I block off that outpost. Even though I know they can't get it. They don't spawn, they only spawn 36 blocks from center, 72 across. And they have to see you to come get you. So I'm never going to be bothered by the outpost, but it does bug me that it's there. So I need to block it off. Okay, last house for this neighborhood. This is so cool. It's built around the tree. That's an original tree. So they did the best they could. So it's kind of like you're downstairs. The pistons don't do anything. They're just decoration. Kind of like you're downstairs. But it's also the main entry, which I have houses with friends in real life where you enter like this. Your main entry looks like a basement, but it's not. It's your main entry. And then all this glass stairway and everything. Because look, we're built into a hill, which we'll get better idea of in a minute. No bedrooms. You have to use imagination. No bathrooms. Use your imagination. Art, though. Lots of books, so you can just hang out, read. Maybe this is more of a clubhouse. I don't know, because what happens in back, a little campfire pit and places to sit. And again, kids created the trail going down here, but there's nowhere to go. Plus, that's private property anyway. So yeah, there you go. And then we're back to where we started. See, in the trail system. Isn't this cool? Alrighty, one more thing to show you though. In this build / update video, whatever. I'm just looking up here at my park. Such a simple build, but so cool too. Anyway, coming down here, we're going to check out one more thing. And then that concludes the urban housing area. It's just a few more high rises on the end. There's the outpost. I mean, they're not even spawning yet. We're so far away, but we can't come here anyway because we were gated off there and we're blocked up too high. But we are going to build here though. Something, I don't know what yet, but we're going to build there, so we need to block that off. All right, here we go. Koteberg founding cabin, circa 1572. That's a long time ago. So it's turned into a state park type thing now. And our state parks in Minnesota are like this. Come in, crazy road, hard to navigate. You need all-wheel drive, even in the summer. Campfires are put out because no one's using the cabins right now. They all have funny names, like Dragon. This is the Dragon cabin. They've turned into a state park, but it's original. Oh, this one's running. Someone to put their fire out. Places to sit. This is the Turtle cabin. It's a little bigger. Can probably bring a mattress and have 3 people in here, 2 people in here. Bring a baby. I don't know. We've done that before. 2-person cabins. Bring a pack and play for the kids. And this is the sloth cabin. It's the tiniest one. Super cool. And they put their fire. I was going to do an outhouse for each one, but I decided not to. Just, I don't know. Use your imagination, I guess. I don't know. I just wanted to block it off so you couldn't see here into this private property. Remember, this is a lava fall. See where we are now? And there's that private property because that house goes into there. So there we go. 3 cabins. Watch your toes. Anyway, there you go. That is the urban housing area of Koteberg. I still have to finish this build here. There's going to be a lot going on in here. There is a lot to happen here. And then this area, you know, we'll build someday. We'll come over here, block them off. And that's going to be really easy to block off. I can just block off the water. And then, look at this. Let's just have a flyby of the houses. I can't even see them. There you go. Look at that. Exactly how I imagined. Actually, better than I imagined. So now, the next thing is over here. Whoa. We're going to build high-rise condos. This is going to stay. I'm going to keep this. Nothing is even spawning down there. I got rid of all the lights. Oh, yeah, that's right. With this texture pack, all the ores glow, which is kind of cool, but it's kind of cheaty. But anyway, I took the lights out, but nothing is spawning in there because of the water. So I was thinking it'd be kind of cool if monsters came up here, but anyway, that's not that exciting down there. It actually stops at that water, and then it's a cave system that I blocked off and lit up. So there's nothing down there. It just stops right there. But you can imagine it goes forever. But we're going to keep this. So around here, it's going to be a high-rise condo. I already know how I'm going to do it. I'm not going to tell you. You're going to have to either watch me build it or watch an update video, whatever comes out. I got some terraforming to do here. Quite a bit of terraforming, actually. But no, not quite a bit. Just a little bit. And then behind the high-rise condos, I have it's going to be a road. So this road here, this big road, it breaks down here like it was supposed to. That was always the plan. But it's going to be another big road. It's going to be offset. So probably like here, because this road is offset also. See? It's offset. And then this will be all offset. And there's going to be something behind the condos and before this house in this area. I have some ideas. And then that only leaves a little bit of space left next to the condos. My original plan is to have like 2-story houses or something. I don't know. I'm thinking about maybe putting a few more high rises, not as high as those, because I want those to appear over whatever is here. So I think I'm going to put a few more high rises, maybe to like this height and this height, perhaps. We'll see. But I'll have an area here that goes to about this next deterioration, this sinkhole, to about here, and then working its way back. So not sure yet what's going to go there. But I do know we're doing condos, because I wanted to do townhouses and condos, because they're very different. And a little fun thing here. So that's, yeah, those are my plans. Not sure how much might change, but then that'll be Koteberg, which is phase 3 or phase 4. I can't remember what I'm phasing them, but it'll be something phase. And I'll be lit up, 100% safe. So yeah, then the city will be all done, and then it's go to the rural area and super rich vacation homes on the other side of the main base, and then expand out to that rocky area. Maybe start expanding that way, maybe expanding towards the outpost. I don't know. I have to see what I feel like doing next. First, I have to feel like what I want to do, right? Because I'm doing city stuff here, housing there. We're going to have a rural environment way down there. Then I got to figure out what I want to do that's not normal. Something fantasy to do in one of these surrounding areas. Anyway, I'm going to go brainstorm and, yeah, get some sleep. I'm not going to tell you what time it is. You'll laugh at me. I sound awake, but let's just say in the other side of the world, they've been awake for a while. Let's just say that. So if you like the video, subscribe, like. Even if you don't like it anyway. And I'll see you next time.